Hey guys, how's it going? Carl Norman from carlnormanconsulting.com and Professional Personal Development Mastermind Podcast. I'm joined today, and I've got to be honest with you, I am super excited to have this guy on my podcast and obviously on this Facebook Live. Basically, this guy has been a little bit of hero of mine for a long time. He doesn't understand that and he doesn't know it, but the fact is that he's done a lot in his career. I'm joined today by Trevor Commons. Trevor, just say hi before I give you a little bit of an intro.
Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you all.
Fantastic. Trevor has been involved in the personal training game for many, many years. But I think it's his professionalism with regards to his time that he spent with in Huddersfield, working with some unbelievable teams. He's going to fill us in on everything that he's done. But basically working in a professional capacity as a coach has probably been one of the most exciting things that I've witnessed and seen him progress as he's gone through his career. Trevor, just give us a little bit of an idea on your background and just tell everybody what it is that you've done, how you've done it, how you started off. Let's start with that first.
I suppose just to keep it shorter, this will go on forever because I'm older than I look. I started in the fitness industry in the late 80s, early 90s. Very quickly broke into the personal training business, which was pretty new to the UK at the time, in the city of London. I was based out of a club there and really worked a lot of the time with busy, stressed, overworked, knackered city traders, a few odd celebrities here and there, but mainly the city traders. Very, very early mornings before they went onto the trading floor or just after they finished on the overnight markets. And then sort of later in the day with general members of the public, and I did some home visits and stuff like that as
Brilliant.
well.
How did that then, Trev? Sorry to interact there or interject here. How did you go from obviously training those type of guys, you know, the city folk, and to thinking to yourself, you've carved out a massive career for yourself going into the professional capacity with the rugby teams? Was there a desire there to get involved with the rugby teams, or was you into rugby yourself? How did that change for you?
Well, as a kid, I was really good at football and rugby, but for various reasons, one medical, I couldn't pursue rugby because I'm epileptic. So, being involved in professional sport with elite athletes was something I've always wanted to do. But the opportunities in those days were very, very slim, very thin pickings. Football teams didn't really have fitness conditions in those days. They tended to use the physio to do that, or someone that used to be a player. Rugby teams in rugby union hadn't really broken into the professional game. They were still semi-professional. Some of the bigger teams did have part-time conditioners, and that's kind of how I broke in. So while I was in the early days of my business, I did have a sports science background, so that was really where it was all driven from. I got invited to go to a massive sports conference in America. That opened the window of opportunity, if you like. I started mixing around people that worked in professional sports in the States. It was a big conference in New York. I went to about 3 of them overall. But I got introduced to an organisation that had just set up in the UK, and they wanted someone to go and help them with Leicester Tigers on a part-time basis, which had just turned professional. Had a very well-known, very famous Australian national team coach as their head coach at the time. So I started going a couple of days a week, driving up the M1 at night to train them, mainly on speed, agility work, and fitness conditioning work, specific to rugby. And that kind of fueled the fire. But there were only 20 full-time jobs available at the time in the UK.
Wow. So that must have been, for you to break through into that industry when, let's be honest with you, I mean, you just mentioned there that, you know, when a player retired, then they took over. Oh, come on, lads, you know, let's go and have a little run round and let's do a few little sprints and a few little exercises. And as we know, obviously, sports science has changed massively over the last 20 or 30 years since you and I have been coaching. So, I mean, from a personal development point of view, when this all happened, your mindset must have changed, or you must have had to change other people's mindsets with regards to, well, it needs to be specific with regards to what it is that you're actually doing. Because I've watched stuff 10, 15 years ago when I've seen people training, and it's like, wow, it's a million miles away from where we currently are right now. So how did you manage to convince people from those early days of where they did have, like, you know, the ex-player who was obviously mingling with the lads in the pub after he'd had a little bit of a training session, or he'd had a game or whatever, for you to go in there and go, right, okay, this is the way that we should be doing it. How did you manage to convince people to do that?
I don't think I really needed to convince them. The Leicester Tigers, because they're a forward-thinking head coach at the time, were already in the process. So it was a matter of just putting the players through drills that were specific to what they did.
Okay.
Sometimes position specific, and presenting that in a way that was understandable to the players, not too sciencey, very basic, which suits me because I don't like talking science all the time. I just think it goes over people's heads. So I just try to keep things straightforward so they can understand it.
Good stuff.
Makes it easier for them to buy into.
Yeah.
And then from them seeing the results, really. And I think the thing is, if you're a professional athlete, the worst thing you can go to training for is to be bored. And a lot of the stuff had a lot of variety. It was fun to do. It was really intense, but for short periods of time, so plenty of recovery. It gave them a chance to have banter. So training sessions became fun.
Cool.
That way you got the player buy-in. From that, the coach was already sold, because that meant he was presenting something that the players were bought into, which meant his job was way easier. But by 95, I've been going about 6 years as a personal trainer. I was doing really well, but I really wasn't feeling fulfilled. And this is where my first introduction to personal development came on board. So someone very kindly gave me a program that probably everyone on the planet's pretty much heard of. And that's a program by Tony Robbins. I borrowed a CD program, Unlimited Power program. And I did that for 21 days, and that sort of changed my mindset. Then I bought his book, and I just kept that. I've always had that. It's always been a go-to. But it was all about changing me. I then went on a sports conference in Manchester, which was run by some pretty well-known people in the UK around various different sports, as well as there being some great sort of other presenters there on psychology and stuff like that. And I just, you know what it's like when you go to your first big functions. You don't want to be splashing out on big hotels. So I roomed up with someone. He was involved at Huddersfield Giants at the time. They just got promoted to Super League. So after we left, I messaged him and said, congratulations, our Super League strength and conditioning coach. He messaged me back saying, this was the days before mobile phones, by the way. So it was email. Shows how hard I am. He came back to me and just said, I've been fired. The coach doesn't like me. He's very old school. So I put a CV together and sent it off.
Wow. So it was just,
it
was just a mass. Yeah, you just obviously see an opportunity. Now, to be fair, you just heard obviously that you first heard of Tony Robbins in the 90s. And it was an impetus really for you to look at personal development probably a little bit different. How did it affect your coaching? Because obviously we know that when we do our own personal development, there are certain things that we want to go through. There's a certain mindset that we wake up every single day and think, okay, this needs to be done, that needs to be done. You've got the attitude of gratitude. You look around you to see exactly, the people that you can influence and stuff like that. How did you incorporate that into your coaching, and how did that sort of influence the other people that you were coaching? Was there a profound effect to it? Did they see something instantaneous? Did you see something instantaneous?
No, to be brutally honest, I didn't really. I'd used it with some of my one-to-one clients, but I didn't feel that the professional environment of sport lent itself to it at the time, because where I was going, I didn't have time with the players. It was literally deliver and go.
Okay.
So I didn't really, apart from sort of positive affirmations about what they did, what they were doing, some of the difficult drills they had to do, the coordination drills, things like that.
Yeah.
Apart from giving them positive affirmations around those, I really didn't have enough time to have an influence. But when I got the opportunity to come and do the interview up here in Huddersfield, and a couple of days, I had to come up a couple of days later then and deliver the session to the whole club. Then I got the job, and then I realised what a mess the place was in. There was no structures at all because they'd been semi-professional, so everything was geared around the first team and nothing else. That gave me an opportunity, and the board were brilliant. They wanted to build from below, and this gained impetus through various different coaches. And it was, I really at the time wasn't utilising the personal development outside of myself, and even at that point, I really wasn't implementing all of it. You know, when you get your first base touch, if you like,
yeah,
it gets you moving, but then you kind of put it to the back of your mind and you kind of forget.
Yeah.
And I think this carries over into what we do.
Yeah.
You know, you have to keep reminding people from a coaching perspective,
Absolutely.
which is why people need people like us, because they need that to keep their forward momentum.
Yeah.
So I personally went through that, and then very early 2000s, for various reasons, I took the opportunities that always wanted to see Tony Robbins live, but he wasn't doing regular events in the UK at this point. So I got the opportunity to go, and it was do Unleash the Power Within weekend. And I was reading stuff. I'd read a book called by Art Berg, which really, and it actually the opening page in that book is a poem that's struck with me right from the get-go. Famous motivational speaker in America, so a lot of people over there will be aware of the guy. And it was, I think it's Nothing is Impossible, or Impossible is Nothing, something like that.
Okay.
Fantastic book. I had me in tears reading through it. Unbelievably emotional book. So I carried on reading personal development. I read some sales, motivational books, and all that kind of stuff as well. Usually with a way to sell myself to players.
Sure.
But when I came back from Tony Robbins, I immediately saw the opportunity in how to break into the mind of a younger player, because that younger player is going to become a future player, potentially.
Yeah.
Older players tend to be stuck in their ways, and it's only a few that are open.
Yeah.
So I started playing, if you like, mind games and coaching games with the younger players that I was tasked with developing into the future of the club.
Yeah.
And it paid massive dividends. So by the time I'd left the Giants, they had about 4 international players.
Wow. So obviously the strategies that you put in place, you mentioned about structures before. Obviously the strategies that you put in place with regards to helping people with their mindset and playing those, not so much games, but trying to give them some sort of, making them think a little bit more really about the process of what it is that they were doing. Because let's be honest with you, we can be fed things, but unless we actually analyze it and think, oh, well, hang on a second, what would that mean if I did this? How would my life look like if I implemented that? I'm presuming that you went along those roads, but just fed it to them, maybe in a subconscious type of a way, so that they would then sit back at some point and go, wow, okay, this has just happened. How has that happened? And then, but you would know, obviously, that you've gone through a process. The structure that you adopted, the structure that you implemented was very much key to obviously getting those guys up to international level. Yeah.
So the methods I used, as I say, fun. I wanted to make, in order to get my message across without them realising I was, if you want to call it this, playing sports psychology with them.
Yeah.
Which in rugby league is, at the time, was still kind of a bit wooey.
Yeah.
So by drip feeding it into them in a fun way, they didn't realise what was being done, and it meant they got total buy-in because they could use it as a group. So, for example, with the senior academy players, what I'd do is if anyone did a PB in the gym, Tony Robbins is big into yes and stuff like that. I used the term "pow," and everyone would leap up in the gym and just shout at the top of their heads, "Pow!"
Okay.
And then I started implementing that and saying, right, anyone makes a big tackle in a game, that's dominant and puts the opposition on their back so that you can slow the ball down and dominate that contact area.
Yeah.
Everybody goes pow, slaps him on the back.
Okay.
And it creates that energy, it creates that feeling, it creates that momentum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That emotional feeling inside that is positive.
Probably brings everybody together as well, T.
Yeah.
You know, it's that team spirit. That's like, you know, if one of the guys are going, yeah, and you've got someone who's a massive motivator, that's great. It can have a ripple effect, obviously. But if you've got everybody in the team that's bought into that sort of, yes, pow, whatever it is that you come up with, it was a case of that everyone felt that. And they had to be, you know, there's obviously got to be a conviction in there. You and I have both seen things where, you know, coaches have really tried to inspire everybody and get either everyone singing or everyone shouting at the top of their lungs, and it needs everybody to sort of have that mindset of being fully immersed, if you like. Listen, what I want to do is I want to bring this forward a little bit, because I know obviously you're now looking at opening a hugely successful gym, which is about to be opened pretty shortly. I know that you're in the centre right now, so you've moved on. You're now obviously running an unbelievably, again, successful boot camp, and you're moving that indoors. What's brought you to where you currently are right now? How's the transition gone from working at the level that you're at before to obviously working for yourself, you know, running a successful boot camp now for the last few years, and obviously now opening your gym? How's that transition happened?
I think, well, when I came back from working abroad in Italy in rugby union, where I was privileged to work with a lot of the national team, and got involved with the national team, that was amazing experience. I loved every minute of it. I had to give that up for personal reasons, so I came back home, and I didn't really know what I was going to do. So I went back into the corporate world, and I hated it. It just didn't fit with me. But what it did give me was greater insights into leadership and coaching. So I worked for a big company, and they had an NVQ program, for managers, which is what I quickly got to, and I went through that, and I got taught more individual style business, if you want, business coaching. But business coaching is basically coaching. Different techniques for that, different management styles and leadership styles, which was brilliant. And related back to all the stuff I learned with Robin, so the two could interconnect. Then, through one thing another, I got made redundant, and Andrea, my wife, amazing lady, just said to me, "I can't bear to see you unhappy anymore. You know, seeing you stressed and wound up, going to work unhappy every day, it's not you. It's not what you're for. Set up your own business. Go and do what you love."
Brilliant. It's lovely to have that support, isn't it?
Oh, amazing. And I'll support you while you do it. And do you know what a gift to be presented with. So I literally had no clients, nothing. No one knew me really in the general public in Huddersfield. Yes, I'm easily found on Google and stuff like that. But I put some ads out. I got things together. I got 4 people in the first session for a week's free boot camp. They quickly started telling friends. Other ads were getting on Facebook were getting answered, and over a space of a year, we went from 4 members to over 50.
Brilliant.
By year 2, we've gone to where we are more or less now. I'm 2.25 years in. I'm up to nearly 90 members.
Brilliant.
And I just thought, you know what, I want to offer more.
Yeah.
You know, not very similar to yourself. One thing that all the personal development gave me, and one thing that was giving me my fulfillment in sport, was that you're helping others achieve their goals.
Yeah.
You know, so to see some of the international players I worked with in Italy fulfill their goal through things I've discussed with them and ways in which they can improve their game to then come and play in the English Premiership, Premiership.
Yeah.
For me, was amazing.
Yeah, a massive pat on the back there, obviously, for yourself. I mean, you must have been thinking at that point, you know what, I have helped change people's lives. And I think this is what you're obviously doing now. Now, just
Yeah.
to step things forwards, obviously, you've got the gym that's opening pretty shortly. But you and I are both involved in this new company whereby we are helping people with their nutrition. And I wanted to just touch on that, really, because a lot of personal coaches that are out there, a lot of PTs come directly from PT school, shall we say, where they've done either a 6-week, 8-week, 3-month, whatever course that it is, and they've come fresh out of it, and they've been told that, you know what, nutrition is key. It's really important to, obviously, to help your clients. The problem is, you and I both know, we've been in the game for as long as we both have, is that nutrition is not the same nutrition as it was 10 years, 15, 20 years. It's virtually, you can't recognize the nutrition from what it was 20 to 30 years ago. You know, the way that it's farmed, the way that we can basically open the fridge and we can have any fruit and veg that's in there currently. And obviously getting involved with this company that we're in with now, I mean, a lot of personal trainers will look at what we're doing by offering either, you know, sort of meal replacements or supplements and just think, no, that's the wrong way to do things. You know, you've got to do everything properly. Now, again, probably going back a long time ago when, again, if the guy was going to be out at work, the lady was at home looking after the kids, then obviously there was an opportunity there for her to be able to, you know, prepare meals, make sure that, you know, the food that was there, that was healthy. How have you found that as we have moved forward, that people are a lot busy, and this new company that we're involved in, Isogenics, that is providing us with all of this nutrition? How have you found that with the clients that you're currently coaching? Would you believe that they will benefit from something like this?
Yeah, I've got my Nourish for Life here.
Fantastic.
Just wet me whistle because my throat's a bit dry. Very brilliant. Yeah, I think the biggest thing, you know, to say to anyone coming out of a PT school or coming out of wherever they come out of, whether it be university or whatever, and they want to break into this market is, yes, they give you all the tools, they give you all the information, but it's like a driving test. You know enough just to pass. That's it. Mm-hmm. The rest of your learning starts now. Mm-hmm. And I think the biggest thing you're going to learn through experience in this is people buy in, and they come to you and they get the help, but it's very, very difficult long term for them to maintain momentum. And old habits, as we know from the coaching, can very, very quickly start kicking back in. What I think, in terms of what our purpose in life is, in terms of helping as many people achieve their goals and get what they want as possible and live a healthier life, healthier, leaner life as well, is that this provides an amazing opportunity, no matter what you do for a living. I mean, you could be in the medical profession, you could be a truck driver, a taxi driver, a police officer, you could be a busy solicitor, you could be someone working in the city. This gives you an opportunity to be able to nourish yourself fully, properly, and completely throughout the day without having to go through the constant ups and downs of sugar high, sugar crash by the habit that we start each day with, you know, orange juice, slice of toast, throw down a coffee and dash out the door, or a bowl of, you know, suicide cereal, as I call it. And then by 10, 11 o'clock, you're absolutely ravenous and you're reaching for a muffin or a Mars bar, or if they still make those, or a can of pop, or, you know, for our American friends, soda. And, you know, this gives you the ability, no matter how busy your day is, you can pre-prepare stuff the night before, grab it from the fridge, take it on the go, and it's going to fill you. It gives you the opportunity to start something, which is what we get everyone doing, and they do great on it.
Yeah.
But this gives you the ability to maintain it long term and continue to build it into your life to see long term results to get you where you want to go.
Yeah. And
it's convenience, but health convenience.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's weird because I believe, from a coaching point of view, is that we should be giving clients virtually every opportunity that is available to us that we believe in. and to say to them, listen, this is probably the best choice that you've got now. I mean, I spoke to a nurse yesterday and actually dropped off a box of shakes to her, and she was saying, I just don't get time to eat through the day. I'm struggling like crazy. And I said, well, listen, the most important thing is to get your metabolism fired up, to ensure that you got the right nutrients in. Then just start with this first. Is it ideal? It probably isn't. In an ideal world, you'd have a break. You'd be able to prepare food. You'd be able to make sure that the food that you was getting was of the highest quality. The fact is that a lot of that just isn't available to us now. So, no. Trev, listen, I could talk to you all day, my friends. We've been on for just over 30 minutes now. And probably what we're going to do, and we've mentioned this before in previous conversations, that we're going to be giving people little snippets. We're going to be giving them information about nutrition as well. We're going to be giving them training methods and stuff like that, something that we really were passionate about, helping more people, but probably teaming up and doing that together. But listen, how can people get hold of you? What's the best way of getting hold of you? I mean, because obviously you've started the Isogenics now in Huddersfield, and I know that it's a massive area for people who are interested in wanting to get fit. I know that you've had a great response to opening your gym, but what's probably going to be the best place for people to get in touch with you? How are they going to do that?
They can get in touch with me through my Facebook pages, which is Lean and Mean Bootcamp or Lean and Mean Fitness. They can pop me a message on Facebook Messenger, on my website page, on my Facebook page. My website is currently going through it's www.leanandmeanfitness.co.uk, but it's currently going through a build at the moment to redesign it and freshen it all up because of the facility. It's like my little office now. But my telephone number is on my Facebook pages as well, so or you can drop me an email at info@leanandmeanfitness.co.uk. Sorry.
Brilliant. That's absolutely awesome. Like I said, Trev, we could probably go on all day, and when we have our mammoth chats, we tend to go on for at least an hour. But obviously, just to try and give people some sort of idea about what it is that you do and how you do it, and obviously the history that you've got, and how we're moving forwards now together working with our team is really, really exciting. So I appreciate you taking the time out today to obviously join us. I know that you're opening within the next couple of weeks and you're expecting stuff to come through there, so I appreciate you taking your time out today to give us a little bit of an idea on what it is that you're doing. Trev, you've been absolutely awesome. Please say goodbye.
Goodbye. Let's do another one.
Yeah,
the subject, and let's make it a regular.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today on my podcast, or if you're watching this on Facebook. If you want to get in touch with us with regards to any aspects of the video today, or you want to speak to us with regards to personal development and how you can take your life to the next stage, whether that's through any of our courses or any of our training, or basically through our Isogenics business, if you want to lose weight, if you want to feel great about yourself, if you want to take your life to that next level, then please get in touch with us. We would love to speak to you and help you on your journey. Have an awesome day, and I look forward to catching you really, really soon. Adios.
Adios.